Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Happy Friday, y'all. It has been a great week. Last week was so busy, and so I didn't get my normal Friday off last week. Also worked Saturday when I don't typically have events on Saturday, and then we have church on Sunday, so that's a normal work day. And it's really interesting because I had recorded that episode, and which I actually recorded on Monday of last week and planned to drop it then. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll record another one. I don't even know what I was thinking. And then because of that, we got Monday off this week. And like I told y'all, I moved and I'm fully unpacked. And when I tell you Monday was the first time in, I'd say, years that I've really, on a day off, really just chilled. Like, it felt so good. You know, I'm fully unpacked. I don't have anything I'm worrying about as far as logistics of anything, or just a lot of the stress that I've had the last few years. Like, I think about, when I was doing subcontracting work, and even prior to that, just doing my own thing, like, there was always this underlying pressure to make sure, of course, I got to have money to pay my bills. And when I was doing the subcontracting work, if a client didn't show up, which was also similar to when I was doing my own thing, like if people don't pay you on time, or if clients don't show up, bam, I'm struggling. And so it just feels really good to be in this space where I just don't have some of the stress that I've had, even the year plus where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and trying to find open doors of, I was trying to get my own place. And it's wild how that didn't work out to where now me and Kayliana have a place together. But yeah, it's just been a really, really good week where, Friday is my typical day off. So today's my day off. I went to the gym, clean the house, and then Kayliana and I are gonna, play some games and chill later. But days off, just, man. And then having just being in my own space again. It's so interesting though, because on one hand, it's so great, and especially having an office. So I'm in the office right now recording, but then when I'm done, I will leave this office and I will not, return to this office until I'm working again. And so just having separation between my room and work, I have not had that. Once we started, when the pandemic started and the whole work from home lifestyle started for me, my office was always in my bedroom. Now I'd make it work. I'd have it set up, whatever, to where it could, there was space for it. And I'm not, I would have it set up to where I'm not necessarily looking at my computer screen, but I can still see all the equipment and stuff. And it's just, there's something to having designated spaces for different things and just what it allows you to do in that space. So like when I was living with other people, when we'd have days off, I would typically like stay in my room because like honestly sometimes I don't want to talk to people, not like those particular people, but just like people in general, because my job is a very people focused job, which is, it's great and I love it. But as somebody who's not an extrovert, it really takes a lot of energy sometimes. And so like, yeah, it's kind of wild how though being in my own space, you know, I can just, I've always been the type of person that I'm content by myself. Like Kayleana's home more now, but like when we first moved in, she was barely ever here, and I'm just someone who can be content by myself. Like I don't need people to entertain me. I could watch movies. I can whatever, like scroll social media. I could literally just sit there and stare out the window. And like, it's just so funny. I can be so content by myself, and we'll see. Like I'll probably leave more once it's warmer, but it's been like really, really cold, and I'm cool on that. And I'm cool being at home, and I have a fireplace, and it actually works because previous places we had fireplaces, they didn't work. And so I'll just sit in front of the fireplace and I'd be so content. But it's also really interesting because I was so surrounded by so many people living with other people that I realized I got used to somebody always being there to where I didn't necessarily have to like be intentional outside of the house. Like I could literally just go to the living room, and like one of my roommates, we'd have movie nights on Fridays and stuff like that. So like I didn't really have to do too much or go outside of the house if I felt like socializing. Don't get me wrong, I have friends, I have people that I could do stuff with, and we do, right? But I just realized I'm going to have to go back to being more intentional again, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just an adjustment that I haven't had in the past year or so. And yeah, there's always adjustments. There's always different things in different seasons. And like last week, I really got back into listening to people's shows. Now, I'm not on Twitter, so I'm not live tweeting. Like, I mean, technically I am, but I'm not on Twitter, you know what I mean? Or X, you know? And so I'm not live tweeting people's episodes, but I did tag folks in my Instagram story and like just took a screenshot that I was listening. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but for whatever reason, when I started living with the family that I was living with, like that's when it started, I stopped listening to podcasts. And I don't know if it's because, you know, I didn't want to make a lot of noise, or I don't know, even though I could have listened with AirPods, but I don't always want to do that. Like typically when I'm at home, I'll listen to them just out loud. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I got off track with that, but last week I got back on that, and it was just so cool just to hear my pod homies, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then it just made me think about how, man, I miss having guests on my show, and I got to get a new webcam, so I'm not gonna have visuals just yet. And then part of me is like, do I even really care about having visuals? I'm back and forth about it, but I do want to get back to having guests, and I could have that with or without visuals because I can call somebody and they could be a guest on the show. So like that's not hard to do, or there's, not having visuals doesn't create a barrier with that. But yeah, it just really made me think about how there's just a lot of stuff I used to do that I kind of stopped doing, even like recording TikToks. What's funny is, okay, so everybody knows that for like 12 hours or something, TikTok was not working in the US, right? And if you didn't know, now you know. This was on January 19th. So what's interesting about that is, I want to say January 5th or 6th, I had deleted TikTok because we were doing a corporate week-long fast at church. And, you pray, you figure out what you're going to fast when you do that. And I fasted 3 things. And one of the things that I fasted was TikTok specifically. And so that I wasn't tempted to get on TikTok, I deleted the app January 6th. Okay, so I hadn't been watching it or been on it for a while or whatever, for a week. And then when the week ended, I was like, at first, I should say, I was like, well, I haven't been on it. Like, I'm just not even going to get back on it yet. I didn't say forever, but I was just like, I wasn't on it for a week. I'm not going to get back on it yet. Then it got to this point of, okay, maybe I will get on it. But then they got rid of it, quote unquote. And so then I was like, okay, well, if they, or whenever they come back, because I was seeing all this stuff. That's what's weird about the people who deleted it then, because I was seeing a lot of stuff that was saying it was going to be back on the 20th. So I maybe, then people didn't see that, but that was just weird to me, because I'm like, I had deleted it way before that. But the people that deleted it during that time, that I don't think I would have done that if I had TikTok. And so I said, okay, yeah, when it comes back, I'll re-download it. And then I couldn't. And I was annoyed and telling my friend that, like, I felt oppressed because I couldn't download TikTok. And it was crazy because she and I had a TikTok streak. We would send each other, different TikToks, multiple throughout the day. So me fasting for that week was a sacrifice, because I talked to her about it to prep her, like, hey, this is what I feel the Lord is inviting me into. She goes to my church, so she was doing her own fast anyway. And I was like, hey, I really feel like I need to fast TikTok, so I'm sorry. I'm going to have to, we're going to lose our streak, but we'll get it back or whatever. And then we couldn't. So she would try to send me TikToks. It was just crazy, because at first the link was null. It wouldn't even show up like a normal link that you could even click on. Then we figured out that I could still access it from the web browser on my phone. And we would kind of do that, but it was dumb because you can't comment. You can't find your messages. So it was just annoying. And then finally, lo and behold, one day I was on Facebook and I happened to see somebody say, so I just really can't have TikTok back or something like that. And the person who commented happened to be a mutual friend, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen this comment. And she said, it's in the App Store. Do you know I left Facebook expeditiously and went to the App Store to re-download TikTok, and it's just such a fun app. And there's no, I have Instagram, and I even follow some of the creators that I follow on TikTok. I follow them on Instagram too, but it's not the same. I don't know why, but it's just, I feel like for me on TikTok, I get access to a broader range of stuff. Like they say, I built my For You page brick by brick. I'm a very diverse person with diverse interests, and somehow I get to see videos that I didn't even know existed, but it's exactly something I'd be interested in. Like there was this ASMR video of this dude cleaning, like washing a carpet with a power washer, and it was just the most fascinating thing to watch. He also has some really dope boots. Came across my For You page. Like there's like different tabs you can watch on TikTok if you're not on there, and some of them is like, or one of them is like the people you're following. I'm never on that. I'm always on the For You page. Another thing I really like about TikTok that is better than Instagram is that, so this same friend, she'll send me reels on Instagram. Now, if she sends me, we'll say 5 reels, or yeah, we'll start there. No, we'll start on TikTok. If she sends me 5 TikToks, right? And I go to the first TikTok and I watch it and I swipe up, it swipes to the other TikTok that she sent me. So it stays within our message thread, and I can do that to watch all the videos that she sent me. If we do that on Instagram, and if I swipe up, I'm caught up in the Reels section of Instagram, and then I have to like go back to our messages. So that's one of the things I really like about TikTok too. But yeah, I really like that. I feel like I get exposed to more creators on there or stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely a bit of a struggle when I wasn't, well, like when I didn't want to do it, that's one thing. But like when I'm being forced not to do it because whatever, that was annoying. But yeah, nevertheless, I do want to get back to like recording TikToks, not every day, but there was something that was fun about some of the TikToks. I'd actually say all of them that I would make, because they all had a different purpose and allowed me to have a different type of creative outlet. So I'll get back to stuff like that though. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like, okay, everything's more calm, everything's more settled. So like, I want to get back to doing things that I have not done in a while. I want to start having guests on the show again. I feel like the last few years have had their trials, and don't get me wrong, life is always going to have trials. Like today when I was at the gym, I told y'all I was rear-ended a few weeks ago, the day before I moved in. And because of how hard they rear-ended me, pause, but it pushed me into the left side of the door. And sometimes I was really sore the first few days, but now it's more just sometimes my like left elbow will bother me. And it happened today at the gym. And then it just made me mad because I had to kind of adjust the way that I was doing the workout after I talked to the coach or whatever. And it made me mad because, like I said, that person drove off. So like, they're just out here doing their thing. And I don't care as much about my car being damaged, although every now and then I get annoyed by that because I'm just like, bruh. But when I'm in the car driving, I don't see it anyway. So it just, it's like when I go to put something in the trunk that I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But me being physically hurt, me being to a point where it's weeks later and something still bothers me, not all the time, but still, the fact that that's even a thing, that is actually annoying. You know what I mean? So that's just one example. There's other things. Life has had its trials, still has its trials, but I just feel like so much more settled. And like when I feel settled, then it's like I can think about all this extra, and being in my own space definitely helps because I can just feel like I could just do my thing and not really, I don't know. Yeah. So that is what I have for y'all this week. As always, make sure you are taking care of yourself mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I have really been even more intentional with focusing on growing spiritually, having regular fasting being one of my spiritual disciplines, just because I just see the benefit in it. I love having an office because I have this table and chair in here, and that's where I go to do my, read my Bible and journal and pray and all that stuff, my intentional time, because, you could pray anywhere. But I love it because the way I have it set up, when I open the blinds in the morning, because there's so much natural light that gets in this place when I open the blinds. And so when I open the blinds in my office, I could just look out, and I don't know, for some reason, I love that. So yeah, I've really been more focused on that, even just upping different things because I just feel the need for it. And then, yeah, take care of yourself physically. I'm really, really, really I need to make it to 3 CrossFit classes a week, 3 at least, whatever that looks like, whatever the days. Wednesday is usually pretty guaranteed because of staff workout. But that aside, 3 days a week minimum. Really kind of want to do 4, but that doesn't always work depending on what's going on. And then even just upping my protein. That's really what I've been doing. And so we're not just drinking regular coffee. I've been drinking protein coffee. So I've been, coffee, milk, protein powder, PB Fit, and ice. That's what I've been doing. I've been doing more protein shakes at home, but more, I want to say shakes with frozen fruit, or so not in the blender bottle. No shade to that, but it's almost like I've been in some ways doing a meal replacement, I guess you could call it that, but really just trying to up my protein more. Even with, I really like Greek yogurt, and I found this probiotic granola that I just found it at Costco. So, but what I did is I got plain Greek yogurt, and then the protein powder that I have is vanilla ice cream. And so what I've been doing is the plain Greek yogurt, but putting the vanilla ice cream protein powder in it. That way it gives it some flavor, because I do not like plain Greek yogurt. I'll eat it if needed, but it's not, yeah. But then when I add the protein powder, I'm adding extra protein and also a little bit of flavor. So I just really been trying to be a little bit more intentional about different things that are going to be sustainable. I don't like to do anything extreme, because if I'm not going to be able to sustain it, I feel what's the point? Don't get me wrong though. Yeah, different boosts and stuff like that are helpful. So I'm not trying to knock anybody, but that's just always been my thought process. And so, yeah, that is what I have been on. And then as always, take care of yourself. Be healthy in your relationships, and that's another area of my life that I'm wanting to be strengthened in this year, is relationships. And so it's just funny because I have to be more intentional now, and I didn't have to be as intentional before because I lived with other adults. I live with someone now, but it's different. You know what I mean? And technically Kayleon is an adult too, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that is all I have for y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you so much, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for...